unprofessional.
Oh, here we go then.
Okay.
Hey all.
Oh, here we go.
That's better, isn't it?
Here we go. We're in.
Better than being like.
I don't. It
That's
depends.
like taking 10 years off and then it's.
Yeah, exactly. So put it up then. Put it on. So, hey everyone, I'm Saski and I'm here on behalf of Diva Magazine, and I'm with none other than Ben Cohen.
Hi all. Hi. I'm just staring at the camera.
I know you're worrying about focus.
Do I need to look at you like completely?
Let's be professional, unprofessional. I think that's going to work the best.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so let's do this. So we've been. Well, first and foremost, you set up Ben Cohen Foundation. StandUP, anti-bullying, tackling bullying.
Yeah.
You obviously been in sports as a rugby player, would have experienced or seen, I imagine, a lot of sort of issues around bullying and maybe people not feeling like they had a voice. But with that, setting up the Ben Cohen StandUP Foundation, you've obviously really put forward the message that we need to speak up and speak out about making a change to tackle bullying. What message would you give to people maybe in the workplace or even in schools? Because we're seeing bullying it's not a new thing, it's not an old thing, it's still happening.
Yeah.
What message would you give to people?
Oh wow, you know, I think it's so multi-dimensional, that question, with it from a sports perspective or work perspective or a school perspective, and I think workplace bullying it can be different to what you get at school, but ultimately, you know, being at school, you shouldn't tolerate being bullied, and schools are doing a lot of work around bullying now, and it's important that you report it. It's important that you feel safe at school, and it's important that you can be your whole self at school. And so I'm not talking to the camera. So within the workplace, we look at basically leadership. We look about leaders creating an environment where you can be your whole self to go and be able to perform. Because ultimately, it's wanting your company to get more profits, and by doing that, is creating a workplace where you can perform. And sadly, we see a lot of that doesn't really exist. And some are mainly some are good at it, some are not. So we know there's a lot of work to be done there, and it's about obviously. Now looking at quality diversity, then going into mental health. It's about visibility of LGBTQ awareness within the company. It's about to be understanding and managing banter in the workplace, which is another big thing. And obviously
the banter, just to say, what's interesting about banter is banter. People do see it as banter, but those sort of throwaway comments like, you know, you're so gay or so gay, they're the ones that really going to affect people, and people don't realise.
Yeah, it's casual homophobia.
Massively.
And I think there's a lot of that within the playgrounds, and I think it's something that actually a lot of people don't necessarily understand what it is, because as kids they've grown up with, you know, around kinds of racism or sexism or classism, and the same with homophobia or transphobia. So, you know, it's something that becomes actually that within part of their dictionary, so to speak, and that sort of the casual discriminations is something that throwaway comments that they don't really understand what they are, but they have meaning, and that part of your workforce, it can be very. It can be like a cancer to your workforce that slowly eats away at that, and that comes down to leadership. It comes down to being strong leadership and your values of your company. And you know, if you're a big company, then it's small teams, and the values of that and leadership is absolutely vital. And by that, you need what your values of the company are. And if you want people to buy into your company and have values, is to get them to be in that and have good values that appreciate your staff. And if people don't appreciate that, then that's not their place to be, really. But people do need to speak up about it, and being able to speak up about it and not necessarily putting themselves at risk. And sadly, we do see that, and people don't speak up about it because they don't want to be seen as troublemakers or making their job untenable.
Yeah, and this is it. And what I really loved about there was the conference today. So it was 2018 last year, and then we had the second year today. The conference really brought out the whole thing about bystanders, which I think is really important, because bystanders, you know, the whole thing about, do you feel safe to speak up and speak out? Is it a safe space? That's such crucial to people making positive change. and then if we don't have enough people sort of supporting each other in bullying, because when we think about bullying, often we just relate it to childhood bullying. But the fact that it happens in the workspace is something that we really need to feel empowered, and that was empowering the individual was sort of the title of the conference tonight, wasn't it? Empowering people to feel that they can make those changes. So you must feel really proud of the success, obviously, the Ben Cohen StandUP Foundation's made. Tonight we've been at the awards, and how does that make you feel?
Yeah, do you know what? I probably take it for granted a little bit. I do it because, Jerry, I want to make a difference. I don't do it to really sort of enrich or change my life. I just generally think that, with personal circumstances, my dad getting, killed many years ago, and we got murder protected. I set the foundation up, and with things like that, I do it so I can make a difference, be a role model, and obviously being a rugby player in a masculine sport, in an alpha male sport, although I'm not alpha male, but I had to live that. I had to live that life, and I don't really like it because it's not really me. But also being a world champion, and all that to really boot is actually saying, look, men and women in sport do have an extra string to their bow, and it is being a role model. And outside the political arena, sport has the power to really drive a cultural change, and that's why I think our sportsmen and women can do so much more. And there are some people who do amazing work and unseen work. But ultimately, it's about visibility and seeing that your hero doing something right and something for good.
Yeah, and that's it. Empowering people to be role models, whether it's in the workplace, whether it's in school, through sports, is going to drive real positive change. And I'm so pleased that someone like yourself is being a massive role model. And I just want to say thank you so much for all the work that you're doing to help tackle bullying, because we've seen at the award ceremony, all the people that are
they do some amazing work.
Work, but people like yourself and setting up these foundations to help support that and give people that extra confidence to push that forward. So
and it's nice to have a bit of recognition, though, isn't it? And recognition it goes a long way. And with these guys, that they're raising money or they're doing work to educate people, the next generation, we need to drive a sort of a cultural change. We need to educate those, and these guys are doing that. So thank you for having the interview. I've got to go home and get a train, as I'm never going to get home.
That's all right. I'll let you go, Ben, because we had a good long chat, private, walking up here. It was very good. We can't disclose that, but I'm going to let you go. Ben, thank you so much.
Take care. Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye.